Well, hello again, everyone. Welcome once again to the 2021 IndyCar iRacing Series. You are watching VirtualRacing.Network, and this is the round 7 of 15 here at Road America, this IndyCar iRacing Series featuring some of the absolute best IndyCar racers in the world coming together over just one season and in the entire 2021 calendar year. So every race crucially important to a championship hope, and today's race actually promises to be a slightly higher strength of field than the Wednesday race that took place. In the Wednesday race that took place here at Road America, it was Adam Crane who actually suffered many problems in the race and only put 20 points to his name heading into the second race of the week. So as we get ready for qualifying, we see some of the cars heading out onto the track. Let's go ahead and take a look at the live points here coming into this race. As I mentioned, Adam Crane only able to put 20-some points onto his total for the week, and notably absent in that race, the first race of the week, Hugo Olsson. Of course, Hugo also skipping last week's race in Detroit. Henry Bennett still shown with one less participation than Adam Crane, as you can see. Cesar Manzato creeping up into 4th place in the points, as well as Matthias Kraus making his name known up into the top 5 in the championship standings here in the 2021 IndyCar iRacing Series. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, pleasure to have you aboard. I, Trevor Greenfield, your host and commentator through it all. I've been with you since week 1 of the series. So easy for me to say, I guess. And let's see if we can go ahead and get some more of our graphics up on the screen so we can see what's happening. So far, nobody has set a time. And we go take a look at Henry Bennett, who is on track right now for his first of 2 laps. We've got pretty much everybody on track right now, nobody choosing to wait. Take a look at the weather for today's race. Now, this is amazing, folks. I was looking at this just earlier. It says that it's 82 degrees ambient today and 112 degrees track temperature with a 14 mile an hour wind now. And I was just looking earlier, that is almost spot on for what the real life IndyCar drivers are doing out there right now, and is the conditions at the track right now in Road America. So these drivers here taking battle to Road America, one of the most revered road tracks in America, in the United States of America, as well as across the world, just renowned for its quality. It hosts many different series, including IMSA and obviously IndyCar. It's one of the crown jewels of IndyCar. So the real life series, I believe, might even be on track at the moment, and so that's why I appreciate even more you joining me here on the YouTube channel and checking out live streaming coverage, broadcast coverage of the 2021 IndyCar iRacing Series. So again, we're just in qualifying at the moment here for this, what should be the high strength of field race for this week for the series, and so therefore should pay out the most points of the week. Interesting, we don't have a heads up as to when or what times different drivers will be appearing or not in the series. So Hugo Olsson, it doesn't, at least I didn't see him. I'll go back and double check. We do have Jesper Orman joining us, Dan Piazza joining us, Mark Usher rejoining the field once again. Great to see these names joining. And there, Henry Bennett puts his name atop the leaderboard with a 1:42.93. So Bennett on the pole with Mark Usher here now going on to his second lap. Usher, his first lap of 43.63, and we have seen Jesper Orman lay down a time, putting him 5th. Carlos Ruiz also in the field, 7th place. Chris Willite Ninth place at the moment. Rob Unglenix, who is just outside of the top 5 and 6th in the point standings currently, is 11th place on his first lap. So we watch to see what Mark Usher here can do as he goes through the kink and onto the backstretch at Road America. In through Canada corner. Throw a little track map up there. Give you just a little bit more information. And we wait. And it appears as though Mark Usher continues to stay in second place with a 43.42. Back over to Henry Bennett, who is just finishing his second lap. Will we see Henry increase his pole speed from a 42.93? Last lap, 43.14. So no, he does not improve. We still have, let's see who is still out here. We have Alexis Newsom, our top American at the moment. She's in 5th. And we await to see whether she can improve. I don't think so. I think that's a sign that she's coming in. So that's it for her. Matthias Kraus, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, now 5th in the points. And looking to gain some more here in this high strength of field race. Of course, this is a great opportunity. Not seeing Adam Crane has not yet taken to the track to set a time, and I'm also not seeing Dan Ench. Both of those two cars registered, but I have not seen them yet on track. I know they're not most likely electing to start from the pits, so not really sure what's happening there. Take a look, and does not appear Cesar Manzato. There we go. So we have Cesar on screen now. He's one of the only tracks still out there. Also, Miguel Bento and Laura Gearhart are on track at the moment. Cesar, the number 3 car here today, which means he has the 3rd highest iRating, road iRating, does not improve, which is... Actually, no, I take it back. He did slightly improve. He did move to a 44.07. So, not much improvement. I don't think he gained any spaces, but 44.07. So, it looks like Henry Bennett there is going to take the pole. We are watching to see. And I'm also seeing that Justin Petshower, now we can see him out there on screen. Doesn't show that he has left the pits. He's just sitting on screen, and his skin is also not loading for us for some reason. Okay, so that makes it official there. I wasn't sure how close we were to cutting it, but let's take a look at the starting order for today's race. So here we go. Eventually we get to it. Henry Bennett starting on pole with Mark Usher second. Danilo Piazza third. Had the pleasure of racing with both Mr. Bennett and Piazza earlier this week in our league race for Elite. Very talented racers. Starting alongside on the second row will be Doriando Ricciuti. And then on the third row, Lexus Newsom, Matthias Kraus, Cesar Manzato, Chris Willite, Philip Lee, Jesper Orman, Colin Finland, and Ethan McNichol is our top 12 starters here. Take a look at the remaining grid. Carlos Ruiz, championship contender Rob Unglenix, Miguel Bento, Alex Hagland, Laura Gearhart, Zachary Robinson, Alberto Moreno, and then do we show, is Adam Crane even, he's not taken the grid, so I don't think that our championship leader is going to race in this race. I do see, you can see the empty spot there for Adam. Not sure what has happened, or if he's, yeah, there he is. Did he just pop in? Yes, he did. So you can see Adam starting from so far back. Question mark as to why he's chosen to start that far back, or if he had some sort of major problem that prevented him from qualifying. But that is our championship leader at the moment, and he will have to work his way through the field. Really difficult stuff for Adam Crane starting so far back, and then of course Justin Petshower. So go back up to the front here as we're going to take an entire pace lap. And so you can see our pole sitter, Henry Bennett, also getting a weird note here. Is this... Did we have a problem? Maybe, maybe not. Just getting possibly an errant note that Philip Lee might have had an issue. But looks like he's up and running here. So anyway, back to Mr. Henry Bennett here, who is, as we mentioned, get it up on the screen here. Henry Bennett sitting second in our points, one less race than Adam Crane, and Adam not having a great race. Several of the highest qualifiers in the Wednesday race not finishing. And in fact, I had the results here, and it's Tanner McCullough who comes through with the win in the Wednesday race. Robin Glennox coming in second, and Cesar Manzato third in that race. So that's how Cesar has climbed the points a little bit, and Robin Glennox also doing well as far as points, getting let's see, 168 points in that opening race of the week. So some keys to today's race, I can say with confidence, having done an open race and also done a league race here. I would have loved to have done more. Maybe I'll get a chance before the end of the weekend. But some of the keys are strategy, 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 strategy. How far do you go on your stint? Do you try the overcut? Do you try the undercut? Very crucial as the tires start to wear here. That is one of the biggest keys. You are going to be thinking about what the tires are doing. And so then our second key strategy of the day, do you play that rabbit who goes off the front of the track, or of the pack, and tries to make your breakaway with the possibility that you're going to wear your tires a little bit more getting later into the stint? Or do you stay back a little bit and let things kind of sort themselves out and then use up your tires at the end of the stint? So once again, yet another strategic move that we can do. And finally, surviving incidents. I was unfortunately part of the cause of one of the major incidents in my league race, but, you know, there are certain parts of this track and certain laps, for example, lap 1, that if somebody has an accident, it could cause major issues for cars behind, sort of like Watkins Glen-esque, where as you go up the hill, it gets very narrow, and so if cars get it wide there, if they start having issues, the track can get blocked. So those are some of the things to keep an eye out for as we get set to go racing. And as I mentioned before, you are watching VirtualRacing.Network's uninterrupted coverage of the 2021 IndyCar iRacing Series. This is round 7 from Road America, and we are green. Henry Bennett leads us to the green flag. As we can see a little bit further back, it looks like Doriano Ricciuti getting past and actually going side by side into turn 1, making the move. Danilo Piazza actually defending that position. Then a little bit further back, Matthias Kraus defending his position from Chris Willite, who is up a position right now. Willite going a little bit wide as we get a little bit further back, and we can see some side-by-side action as we go down the backstretch. And looks like Matthias Kraus making a move down the inside of Alexis Newsom, who goes out wide, tries to cut back, and then still drifts a little bit wide. So Matthias Kraus now up a position so far. Alexis Newsom moves back, and so does Chris Willite. Now Matthias Kraus moves ahead, as we can see. Who is this? It's Danilo Piazza struggling as we focus on the wrong car. Danilo Piazza having a moment going off track. Let's take a look at that. It was just drifting off our screen. You would have just have seen it in the background. What happened? Oh, and this is what happened. Danilo taking the corner just a little close. See if we can... And that's what happened. We had Usher going off again. This is a couple of times this has happened here on the broadcast. Usher going off from high up in the running order. And we have Danilo Piazza now in the pits, jumping out of the car. So unfortunately, Usher rejoining the track. We didn't even have a note that he had gone off. And yet, his rejoin, we'll go back and take a look at that here in just a minute as soon as this shakes out a little bit more. But this now your top three: Henry Bennett, Mark Usher, Matthias Kraus, Alexis Newsom, Chris Willite, Doriano Ricciuti, Cesar Manzato, Philip Lee. As we take a look at some of these drivers going back through the field. Chris Willite, Cesar Manzato, Philip Lee, and then Ethan McNichol. With Jesper Orman going wide here, clipping it back, coming back onto the track. Very dangerous sometimes to do. Orman with that sort of gold and black Three Crowns Racing livery. So Henry Bennett, though, up 1.2 seconds. Last lap, a 149.98 compared to Mark Usher with a 151.78. Of course, just settling into their first full-length, full-speed laps. And as we take a look back a little bit further, we've got Miguel Bento here in 11th, up 4 spots right now, so racing his way to the front. And just behind Carlos Ruiz, as we can see a pass happening here, with Adam Crane, no surprise, making his way forward, up 7 places now in 13th place. That is who we should be keeping an eye on. Not far back, we've got us also Colin Finland, but then just behind him, an additional championship contender, trying to keep his eye on Adam Crane, just on the other side of Colin Finland. That's Rob Unglenix. So Rob now in 15th. He's actually lost 1 place since his start. As we take a look at Adam Crane making yet another pass, up 8 places. Adam going for that Hard Charger Award of the week. Of course, we do award a $1 million prize for the winner of that championship. Oh, wait, no, we don't. That's right, I forgot, but it is prestige to win that Hard Charger Award. So Adam going for that this week. And it looks like we have another pass happening here. Ethan McNichol getting around Philip Lee. McNichol now up 4 places. And would you believe that the fastest lap of the race belongs to this man, Matthias Kraus, the 26-year-old Bavarian, who is slowly creeping his way up the championship order, finding himself now in 3rd place in this race, up 3 spots. So we continue to take a look at Adam Crane, and Adam Crane is working his way up here to 12th now. He has Miguel Bento and Jesper Orman just in front of him in his sights. Adam last time by a 146.66. Henry Bennett last time by a 145.47. So Adam getting held up a little bit here Adam also extremely quick in our Elite Series race. So Adam, not a surprise that Adam Crane is fast every week in and out. But this week as well, Adam frequently appearing at the top of the time charts, and here making a pass right around Miguel Bento. Little close. Little close. And so now Adam just about to try the same thing with Jesper Orman as we head on to the backstretch. Adam getting excellent tread life and wear and handling out of those Firestone Firehawks. Up 10 spots today. Starting to look like a pretty special day in the making for Adam as he continues to work his way forward. But up front, we have Mr. Henry Bennett, who is just seemingly on a tear here. He's up 8/10, 9/10 of a second on Mark Usher. Seems to pull out a little bit of time through the carousel. And just behind that, you've got Matthias Kraus. Everybody still within shot of the lead here, but now taking a look at the push to pass. Again, so easy for me to say, push to pass. The only person in the top 5 that has used any push to pass is Mark Usher, and he's only used 1. So everyone else with 10 pushes remaining. And you might expect that. Now, of course, today we have 42 laps. And it's a toss-up what strategy you want to go with. Do you want to try to fuel save or not? So we can see Doriano Ricciuti making a pass down the inside of Chris Willite. So while we have a moment, I want to jump back for a second and go back to our initial problem that we had, where Mark Usher rejoins, causes a bit of a stack up, and then these two drivers, that was Danilo Piazza, and Doriano Ricciuti, who had that issue with Ricciuti, of course, continuing, and Piazza now out of the race. So that was our biggest incident thus far. And now we rejoin, taking a look at Henry Bennett, who is starting to maybe see Mark Usher appearing in his role, in his mirrors here. As this last lap, Mark Usher doing just about the same speed as Henry Bennett, but it looks like he's slowly gaining. He's only 4/10 back now. I wonder if Henry is maybe having a little bit of an issue with the tires. When I was racing the other day, it did seem like some of the drivers, that were fast in the beginning of the stint, maybe struggling a little bit in the middle or towards the end of the stint. And Henry, part of that group that was so quick in the very beginning and jumping right out to the front, and with Adam Crane, and then him slipping a little bit back, having some issues with some other drivers. So possibly we might have some more passing to come as this stint wears on. So for Henry Bennett, Mark Usher, and Matthias Kraus, though, things are going pretty good. Everybody's still within distance of being able to strike for the win. Alexis Newsom up a position in 4th place. I think Alexis would be very happy with that, going quite wide comparatively to some of the other drivers at the bottom of Hurry Downs. Newsom, one of the newer drivers that we haven't been seeing every single week on the broadcast, so pleasure to have you join us, Alexis. And take a look at Doriano Ricciuti behind. As we mentioned, involved in that first lap incident. It looked more like a racing incident. 2 drivers just trying to avoid another driver rejoining the track and not really able to fit both cars in the same space at the same time. But Doriano still able to get around in 5th place. We don't know. As I mentioned, I had a small incident where I barely touched another driver in one of my races, and I didn't feel any difference to the car whatsoever. In fact, it felt fine and very fast. But I ended up having to take a repair when I came into the pits, and that can be extremely costly right now, as I believe the top 9 are covered, which, by the way, look who's in 9th now. This is Mr. Adam Crane. You might be familiar with his name. He's quite talented behind the wheel of one of these Indy cars. But anyway, yeah, it's less than 10 seconds to the front from Adam Crane in 10th or in 9th place at the moment. So one repair or one mistake where you go off track, that should just speak to the level of competition that we are seeing here in the IndyCar iRacing series, because you can lose so much so quickly if you do have a mistake. So Cesar Manzato and we have, I noticed that we have 10 people joining us here on the YouTube chat channel. Pleasure to have you all joining us from wherever you're at in the world. Also seeing Jason Lowe joining us, a big part of the US IndyCar League. I also do the race broadcasts. We're doing those on VirtualRacing.Network. Those are Sunday mornings, 7 o'clock Pacific time, so grab your coffee and head on over, or 10 o'clock Eastern time. It's been fun covering that league. Jason saying, go Henry. So big fan of Henry Bennett. As many are. He's been at the top of the standings no matter where you look in IndyCar on iRacing. Henry has been, I've called him a legend. He is. He's one of, we're so privileged to have some of these racers that continue year in and year out. They love IndyCar racing. They stick with us, and they keep staying in the community and bringing the same magic week in and week out to the different series and putting on a great show. So, you know, I've raced, for example, I've also raced against somebody like this gentleman in 2nd place, Mark Usher, and he is amazingly fast, blindingly fast, difficult to keep up with. He's that fast. And for Henry Bennett, not you know, a nearby, living nearby in the UK, so sort of a countryman, but you know, for Henry Bennett to be ahead in this race speaks volumes about Henry and his level of competition. And also when then you see a race where Hugo Olsson or Adam Crane can get the best of them, or someone else, it really does speak volumes to the level of competition and the level of talent in this series. And speaking of that, to see this man, Matthias Kraus, up 3 spots, still hanging in 3rd in a difficult race here at Road America, where tire degradation is going to mean something. He's got a good setup under him, and he's being very consistent with his driving. So take a look back here up front. Henry Bennett. While we have a moment, it's lap 8. Let's take a ride around Road America with Mr. Bennett. And that is a lap around Road America with Henry Bennett. Now, just a moment ago, while we were in that lovely segment with Mr. Bennett, this happened just behind Mark Usher, sliding out from second place, exiting the final corner, and that allowed Matthias Kraus and Doriano Ricciuti to also pass him, and now Matthias Kraus is in second with Doriano Ricciuti third. Mark Usher trying to get back around Doriano Ricciuti, not able to at that moment, and so we rejoin. Now the gap from first to second is 3.57 seconds, and undoubtedly that is exactly the news that Henry Bennett, who is one of our top championship contenders, would want to hear, because that takes a big pressure off of his back porch and now gives him the ability to kind of set his own speed. He has a little bit of a gap to Matthias Kraus here, and so he can start to figure out how he wants to deal with the end of this stint on these tires. I managed to make it, I believe it was 13 laps on the red tires. Today, once again, we'll take a look at that weather. 140 degrees track temp, so it's actually quite a bit cooler at the moment than it has been in some of the other races this week. So I would say that tire degradation probably not as much of a factor possibly as one might have encountered earlier in the week. You can see quite a bit of cloud cover. The temperature does fluctuate here in iRacing a bit. So you can see now this battle on track. It's a little interesting how this display is set up. Basically you have, it's kind of a relative display at the same time that it is a, battle box. So you can see the people battling for first, second, third, fourth, fifth, but then in reality on the track, you see the Justin Petschauer just ahead in 21st as the last car. So let's go ahead and take a run through the field here as we get ready for our first pits. Justin Petschauer coming into the pit. So we have Matthias Kraus in second place, running strong. Doriano Ricciuti in third. Mark Usher now in fourth, recovering from that spin. And oh my goodness, look who it is in fifth place up 15 positions. It's Adam Crane. We get a chance to talk more about him soon, I'm sure. Alexis Newsom in sixth. Chris Willite in seventh, having worked his way forward a position. Cesar Manzato in eighth. Philip Lee in ninth, and Carlos Ruiz rounding out our top 10. Carlos up 3 positions. Jesper Orman just behind in 11th. Robin Lennox in 12th, having gained a couple of spots. Colin Finland 13th, drifting back 2 positions. Miguel Bento here 14th. Alex Hagland in 15th. Zachary Robinson, haven't been talking too much about him, but he's up 2 spots in 16th position. Here we've got Jesper Orman coming into the pits. Nope. Said Jesper Orman in her pit lane. And they lied to me. They did. They lied to me. I could show you it says Jesper Orman enters and leaves pit lane, and it didn't happen. Thank you, technology. You're wonderful. So we watch for Henry Bennett, our leader on the track, and he's now working lap 12, so obviously got those tires working well under him. Question mark is, when will he pit? How much fuel does he have? So will it be at the end of lap 12? Will he stretch it to 13? That is a good question. Take a look over here. Unfortunately, in the YouTube chat, getting informed from Don Day, one of our racers in this series. We don't get to see in the broadcast all the time, that he couldn't make it, but he's enjoying the broadcast. We appreciate you, Don, being a part of this. And AJ, thank you so much for joining us in the chat room. And indeed, Crane up to 5th. The dude is just incredible. He's incredible. I I don't know. I feel so fanboy sometimes just watching the incredible talent that some of these drivers have with their consistency, their ability to put in these fast laps. If you haven't tried it, folks, this is something I see all the time. People, you know, they... Oh, and we see that Henry Bennett is now... No, he is not entering the pits. So 12 laps starting on his 13th lap. So, you know, again, folks, as we take a look, looks like Justin Petschauer in the pits, sitting through this one. Not sure exactly what happened to him because we don't have a note on that. But nevertheless, we have a note here of a pass happening on track. Cesar Manzato getting around Chris Willite. Yeah, if you haven't tried these cars, I see this happen all the time. People think, oh, it's so easy. You just jump into the car, you go fast. You know, what's there to it? There is so much to it. Everything is, there's quite a complicated setup, and the car weight transfer is quite complicated as well. Seeing a number of passes here. Cesar Manzato, of course, getting around Chris Willite for 7th. Mark Usher, let's see here, getting around for 3rd. Doriano Ricciuti losing the position as Usher goes to the outside and gets it done. Bottom of Hurry Downs. So Usher back into 3rd, down a spot on the day, but I'm sure he's happy to have not lost much more than that. And also Cesar Manzato making his way further forward, getting around Alexis Newsom for 6th. So again, some of these tires really starting to go off as we get to the end of these stints. And kind of struggling through that pass. Go back to a live picture with Henry Bennett, who we expect into the pits, not even on this lap. So we'll go through lap 13 with Henry Bennett and on to lap 14. We've got Matthias Kraus, though, in the pits, and just behind him, Mark Usher gets into the pits. I saw a little brake lockup from Mark. So this is the time when the pit crews really earn their money, folks. If you're Matthias Kraus, you're hoping your team turns out that super fast pit stop, and more than anything, you really hope that you can hit your marks. Now, in their views, you would see the pit board and the there is a crew there, as you see Mark Usher go flying by. But we do not see that when we're part of the session in this way. Matthias rejoining ahead of Mark Usher, who drops the clutch, gets back underway. Matthias and, but yeah, I'm sorry, Mark using push to pass, leaving the pits. That's a technique some drivers liking to employ. So we go back, taking a look at Henry Bennett, the man of the moment, leading by 10 seconds over Doriano Ricciuti, with Adam Crane now up to 3rd. And you can see that Adam running a 47.16 this last lap, and Ricciuti running a 47.72. Crane definitely has his targets on Ricciuti. It's more a question of, will Ricciuti pull off into the pits before Adam makes a move? And there we have confirmation that Henry Bennett has finally entered the pits. Will we see Ricciuti and Crane follow suit? They would have been notified that the leaders entered the pits, and here we go. This is for 2nd and 3rd place. Both drivers managing to get down seemingly onto the pit speed limiter, okay. This is your race here. Take a look at Henry Bennett. And now I have a note that Zachary Robinson has crashed elsewhere on the track. Just move to that for a moment, and there he goes spinning. Rejoining, possibly. We move back to the live picture with Henry Bennett. And he rejoins again. Adam Crane now leaving the pits. And we wait to see where everybody rejoins. Throw the track map up on there so we can see where everybody is currently at. We have Henry Bennett in the lead by 2.87 seconds over Matthias Kraus. So Henry not exactly gaining much in that pit stop exchange. In fact, losing a little bit to Matthias Kraus. Perhaps take off. And you can see Mark Usher there in third, Adam Crane in fourth, Ethan McNichol now shown in fifth. Ethan having pitted on lap 7. So, question mark as far as that strategy. We are getting a couple of notes here. We've got Colin Finland having an issue, running off speed here. Looks like he's done for the day. Something having happened to him. And then we have this note. Looks like Dan Ench in the pits. Leaving the pits, he managed to pass somebody on entry to the pits. We go back to the live shot with Matthias Kraus chasing down Henry Bennett. It's only 1.5 seconds at the moment, and it seems to be closing. Not sure if Henry's experiencing an issue. Henry now burning push to pass. I think starting to sense the approaching Matthias Kraus. And Henry increasing the gap to a 1.8 seconds. So push to pass wise, no drivers really using much. Henry and Mark Usher in third using 1 push to pass. Matthias not having used any push to pass. Again, sometimes you're at a deficit situation as far as your fuel strategy, so you can't really afford to burn extra fuel. Sometimes that's a limitation. But Adam Crane in fourth place, having used 2 pushes to pass. That's still not very much, and Adam Crane has managed to climb his way all the way up to 16th from 20th. We'll have to find out from him later on as to what happened on that qualifying, and it's always so difficult to put in a Lewis Hamilton style charge from the back, but no surprise that Adam Crane, the dominant driver that he seems to be in this series and in the IndyCar, able to just claw his way back. I mean, we're on lap 16. Lap 16, we're in a, by the way, as I mentioned before, I don't know, I didn't want to get specific because it's an estimated strength of field, but the estimated strength of field for this was 2920. It's actually kind of low for this series to see that low strength of field. But that's overall, and it was actually slightly higher than the race that was on Wednesday. So once again, the strength of field should most likely put Adam Crane back in charge of the points and will make a difference. This is important for Adam Crane to maintain this gap to Henry Bennett and not allow more points, especially winning points, to go to Henry Bennett and for Crane to not get it. So really this was a tall order for Adam to find himself in 20th place, and as I mentioned, now we're just getting 26 laps to go, and Adam has already climbed all the way back up to 4th with Mark Usher directly in front of him. So very short order for him now to get up onto the podium and possibly limit that points loss to Henry Bennett to even less points. So we take a look a little bit further back at Cesar Manzato. This is about 9 seconds back. By the way, Adam Crane last lap 44.15, fastest man on track by far. I feel like as soon as we jump away, it seems like there's something else that happens. But we'll take a look at this. Philip Lee passing Alexis Newsom for 8. That on the back stretch. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, on the back stretch, basically hurry downs. Very popular corner for overtaking, especially today. And this was Colin Finland earlier. Now we have Chris Willite getting past Ethan McNichol for 6. And you can see them dicing it out a little bit further. But this is the battle on track at the moment. Adam Crane chasing down from 4th place Mark Usher. Usher having that issue early on. Seems to be a possible recurring theme with Mark having that 1st or 2nd lap issue, only to recover and fight his way through the field. This time having an issue and coming in contact with another driver, Dan Piazza, and putting him out of the race. Just one of those things to rejoin the track and make contact with somebody. And so Mark continues, Piazza out, but Mark under attack here from the very fast Adam Crane. A 44.53 last time by for Adam Crane. So Adam lapping 1 second a lap faster than everyone else. It's possible that Adam could, on pace, make this a battle for 1st place. I think that's what possibly we're all hoping for, a showdown between himself and Henry Bennett eventually. Let's see if we can get that on the track. That would be something to watch. So we take a look here at the ever-reducing gap from Adam Crane up to Mark Usher. So Crane just faster everywhere on the track, as you can see, only in Sector 4 having a little bit of an issue, just slipping a little bit back, but everywhere else just significantly faster. They're a little bit slower, but undoubtedly Adam Crane trying to figure out exactly where he wants to make his pass. Meanwhile, this battle is ensuing a little bit further back. It's Alexis Newsom and Ethan McNichol. This is a battle for 8th place on the track. And move Alexis back up into 8th. Not willing to settle for 9th. Now shown only having lost 3 positions on the day, so trying to claw that back. We jump back to this battle here. Adam Crane, Canadian, leading the points. Series champion last year. Looking to be able to overtake Mark Usher soon, I'm sure. Just trying to figure out exactly where he would like to accomplish that. Many options here at Road America. I think that's part of what makes it such a popular track. A lot of high-speed straights, and that gives you a lot of chance to draft and get a run off onto those straights. Here it looks like Adam Crane getting very close to Mark Usher. Not being pushed to pass right now, but getting very close in the draft. Will he attempt to make this pass using just the draft? There, he's getting incredibly close, and he makes the move. Side by side, we go into turn 1, and Usher just seeing the writing on the wall. Crane has been flying through this field, flew up behind him, was very patient for a lap or two, tried to apply some pressure, eventually being able to get a run on Usher, and Adam Crane move him up into 3rd. Final step on the podium. Adam doing a defense of this race and trying to claw back some of those lost points to Henry Bennett, who has been leading this race with absolutely no difficulty, no challenges from behind. Occasionally you'll see Matthias Kraus increasing or decreasing that gap, but seemingly it was Mark Usher who had an issue trying to get close to Henry Bennett earlier, and now Henry still in charge by over 2 seconds. And the next question is, just how fast can Adam Crane catch Matthias Kraus, and will he be able to reel in Henry Bennett? Take a look at their lap times at the moment, and we're seeing Adam Crane at 45.74 last time by, Henry Bennett at 46.12 as his tires begin to expire. So this battle for 1, 2, 3 on the track is hot and heavy. We're going to see I'm sorry, that's Mark Usher on the button, attempting to possibly re-catch Crane. So the push to pass situation being Henry Bennett still with 8 remaining, Matthias Kraus with 10, Adam Crane with 8, and as we mentioned, Ethan McNichol in an off strategy decision is currently in the pits to get service, so that will drop him back down the order. We'll see how that works out for him as everything cycles out, but McNichol would have to do 21 laps on a tank of fuel, and that just isn't likely to happen from here on out, whereas these other drivers, I believe, will be able to make it all on just one more stop. Seeing in the YouTube chat, very familiar name, Andrew Marquez dropping in to let us know he wasn't able to make it today, but wants to be able to make it for next Friday's broadcast. If you're watching this, I appreciate it, obviously, Andrew, I appreciate you dropping by, but if you're watching this and you want to join like Andrew, be part of this broadcast, all it takes is to sign up for the race. It's Friday at 11 o'clock Pacific time, 2 o'clock Eastern time. There's always other stuff going on, especially in the motorsports world, but this is the highest strength of field race of the week, and it's a great chance to take on some of the best in the biz as far as sim racing and Indy cars. This man right here on your screen being right a part of that, Adam Crane, being dominant pretty much every week with us, except for the weeks that he has a small mistake, and then you see the likes of Henry Bennett and Hugo Olsson easily taking advantage of these drivers being championship winners and contenders and big race winners of the past. They know exactly when you have to strike, because otherwise, how do you beat somebody like an Adam Crane, or to use another name from another series, Philip Kraus? How do you beat these guys if they are so fast that you can't catch them? The only way is if they make a mistake, you have to be ready to pounce. So Henry Bennett, being one of those drivers who's just ready, should, for example, putting himself in the position of qualifying as well as he did. I did not qualify with a lap as well as Henry Bennett did in my race, and so I didn't put myself in second place or on the pole, and so Adam Crane not able to make the starting grid at the front. This opens this opportunity for Henry Bennett to actually take some points from Adam Crane. Now, that being said, easier said than done. As we take a look further back, there it is, folks, as Matthias Kraus under heavy attack here from Adam Crane. Almost looks like it's just a matter of time here. Not that it is a foregone conclusion, but Matthias is about to have his hands full. This with all on draft, no push to pass. Adam Crane going by Matthias Kraus, and Adam Crane's closing the door and going right back to the outside, not leaving much room, kicking up a little bit of dirt on exit. Little difficult to avoid that in the sim racing world, but in real life, it's a fun trick that some competitors have used, is to kick up a little bit of dirt on exit just to let your competitor know that you've accomplished the pass. I don't know that that's happening here. But Adam Crane up into second, so he has managed to do something phenomenal here. We're watching great stuff. This is the heart of the championship battle. We're in round 7 here in Road America, VirtualRacing.Network. My name is Trevor Greenfield, your host commentator. We've got 20 laps to go. We've been watching Adam Crane on an absolute tear from the back of the field all the way to second place. He now sits just 3.3 seconds back from Henry Bennett. And if I were Henry Bennett, I would not like to see that red, white, and blue car back there, the VRS satellite racing machine of Adam Crane. that is a serious threat to the winning position of Henry Bennett at this moment. So we watch to see how the gap might shrink. Let's take a look at the sectors here. So we're at 3-second gap at the moment. And we watch as they roll across the line. That time, Adam Crane almost a full second faster. Bennett slower in every single sector. So if you're watching carefully, I think you can see once again the writing on the wall. As you can see, maybe a little loose on exit from Adam Crane. He might have been tearing up these tires a little bit, making all those passes up 18 positions. Tend to have to make a lot of moves to do something like that. As Bennett actually, as you can see there, he manages to get a little bit out of that sector. So Crane possibly feeling the tire wear just a little bit. Check back in with the weather, though it stays somewhat overcast here in the virtual Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. 104 degrees track temp has not changed since the open of the broadcast. We do have 11-mile-an-hour winds, which, as I was just saying, incredibly realistic. In fact, I still have that temperature up here on my screen, and it says 85 degrees right now with a 13-mile-per-hour wind. So in Elkhart Lake at this exact moment. So just really realistic by iRacing to give these competitors this ability to simulate the real-life conditions that these competitors in the real-life IndyCar series are facing probably right now. Report from the 22, reading this directly off of our YouTube chat. Car lost all downforce under braking into Canada corner on lap 10 and shot the car into the tire barrier. Sun was playing hide and seek with the clouds. And this was in real life in Vegas. So as I look over here and discover that we're talking about Justin Petshower, of course. Not familiar with everybody's YouTube name. So cool to have you join us over here, Justin. I wish it were under different circumstances, but I hope you can kick back and enjoy what we are watching unfold on the screen. Hopefully we'll get Justin up here into the top order of one of these races. We get to feature him a little bit more in one of these broadcasts. Adam Crane is at the moment dialing in on Henry Bennett. He has reset his focus. This is it, folks. 2-second gap to the man in front. The man in British Racing Green, Henry Bennett, is losing about 0.4 of a second the last lap, so slowly coming off. Take a look a little bit further back. It's Mark Usher, who might be coming under attack here momentarily from Matthias Kraus. So we see Carlos Ruiz making his pit stop. And so we can actually see that it's Mark Usher who has passed Matthias Kraus. And so this is now showing Matthias Kraus in fourth. So we take a look back up front, we can see Adam Crane 2.14 seconds back of Henry Bennett. We'll keep switching back. We'll go take a look at number 5 on the track. Cesar Manzato up 2 spots today. Philip Lee just behind in 6th, 3 spots gained. Chris Willite in 7th, up a position. Lexus Newsome also here, down 3 spots, but hanging in the top 10. In 8th place, Jesper Orman in 9th, up a position. So trying to psych in that top 10. And there, Miguel Bento in 10th. Our top 10 runner who's gained 5 positions on the day. Now here, just outside the top 10, championship contender Robin Glenix really trying to get inside that top 10 and defend, but he really doesn't necessarily need to. With his top finish on Wednesday, he's gotten a good haul of points for the week, and pretty much solidified himself in the top 10. I'm sure he would love it if he could podium here in this higher strength of field, but nevertheless, that's the beauty of IndyCar, is you do have that on iRacing, is you do have that ability to make more than one race a week, and there's lots of strategies on how to make that work for you. But the main thing is you can do up to 4 races and not have it count against you, so just giving yourself that many more opportunities to do well. And should you experience an issue, now wait a minute, what are we seeing here? Matthias Kraus just a little further back, going off track. This is just oh, it's a brake lock-up headed into Canada corner, and he goes very wide. He hits the wall. On our screen, his left front was detached, but that's just momentary. It resets itself. Not sure how much damage. We're now seeing Mark Usher has come into the pits. We'll take a look at the live picture. Usher coming in with going to be 15 to go. Really big question as to whether that undercut strategy could work for him. Not sure if it was damage or anything else that might have prompted that, but we move back up to the lead, and it looks like Henry Bennett getting around a lap car here. This is where lap cars can really start to affect things. If you hit traffic at the wrong moment, it could really cause a problem and stack you up and give somebody who's over a second back a fighting chance at making the pass. As we take a look at Adam Crane, who manages to get around. Henry Bennett now burning a push to pass. Go back and look up front. Henry Bennett trying to get that gap back over 2 seconds. So things stabilizing just a little bit more now, but it looks like Alex Hagland dropping down in the order as Alex leaves the pits. And you can see this driver just coming through here, Laura Gerhard, not having typical Laura race. Laura usually up somewhere towards the top 10 in these cars, but just getting around in 16th, up a position today. Take a look in this battle happening right here between Zachary Robinson and Miguel Bento. Miguel just made a pit stop, as we can see, actually on camera there, but Matthias Kraus is now into the pits for his final pit stop of the day. And now we await the front. At the front, we've got Adam Crane once again under 2 seconds. Crane, even despite, and what is this we're seeing? Henry Bennett having a problem going off. We missed it. I was just looking at the times. Henry Bennett having a moment there. Now having to recatch. Perhaps the tires going out from under Bennett. What happened going into the bottom of Hurry Des? He just walks too much, gets in too deep. Surprised he's able to get it turned around quite so quickly there and back underway. Well, that sort of takes a little bit of it out. I think we were all expecting to see the showdown between Adam Crane and Henry Bennett at some point, but this is a part of iRacing too, whether the tires start to go away a little bit and you go for that late break and it just isn't there, it just won't hold, or you start feeling that pressure coming from behind and you start thinking, I got to do something to maintain this gap, I got to go faster, I got to keep it in front, otherwise this points advantage is going to start, it's going to go back the other direction. And you put a little too much pressure on with the tires that late in a stint, and it may cause you to do something like that. So Adam Crane and Henry Bennett both in the pits here. As we can see, these drivers, and also Cesar Manzato coming into the pits, Philip Lee entering the pits behind from 4th place. So everybody in the pits. And here we can see Adam Crane now leaving, while Henry Bennett still finds his way to his pit stall. There, Adam right in front of Bennett. Bennett tries to catch Crane on exit. There you see Mark Usher going by. Usher having completed his pit stop, so Usher overtaking Henry Bennett with that undercut procedure we were talking about. Usher coming in a couple of laps ago and able to now show that the undercut was successful in taking that position. In the meantime, Alexis Newsom taking over the lead before having to pit. So we expect that to happen in the next lap or so. Adam Crane here, now shown behind Dan Ench. Adam looking to get around Ench, doing so on the outside of the carousel. Ench giving a little bit of room there. Always appreciated when gentlemen drivers move out of the way and allow somebody in the lead to, especially on a road course where it's very difficult with no cautions, to be able to maintain getting your lap back. No sense really fighting the leader once they've come around to lap you. But nevertheless, you do see it. Mark Usher not far back, just now himself coming up on Dan Ench. And we can see Cesar Manzato has had a moment. What happened here? Cesar Manzato, Matthias Kraus racing, and it looks like Matthias Kraus drifts out and into the wall. Is Cesar Manzato his day done at the kink in Road America? As he pulls off and exits the car, allows the car to be towed to the pits, and unfortunately for Cesar Manzato, his points haul for the day goes away. So he had a great finish on Wednesday. Once again, one of those drivers is going to have to rely on that, much like Robbie Lennox, not having a great run today up in the top 5 or anything, sitting back in 11th. He'll have to fall back on that points haul from Wednesday, unless he does race more races this week. So just to recap now, catch our breath a little bit as we've got 13 laps remaining. This Adam Crane out front. If you happen to join us late, Adam Crane not making a qualifying effort and ending up having to start at the back of the field. And within about 20 laps or so, he had found his way all the way up to 4th place. Here with 13 to go, just a moment ago, Henry Bennett having an issue leading and giving up the position to Adam Crane, who now finds himself in control. However, this man isn't done yet. Mark Usher taking tires and fuel earlier than everyone else, trying that undercut strategy in the dark blue machine, and then having another issue a little bit later on. So amazing that he is making this work with Adam Crane in front, once again getting around lap traffic. Blurred Gearhart, I believe. So Usher 1.6 seconds back. It's a question as to whether he can catch. And right now, take a look back. This is how far the gap has come to Henry Bennett. Henry was in the lead of this race. As we see that Alexis Newsom has, of course, now done her pit stop. So that officially gives the lead back over to Adam. 19 positions gained today, but Henry Bennett, oh, another one of those races where Henry will be asking, what happened? What happened? I was in the lead, I had a gap, and to see it all disappear so quickly, just one of those things, getting in a little late into a corner and it really costing you, is something I was talking about earlier. Just one little incident, whether that be an off track or a touch with somebody or a touch in the wall, and it will severely cost you. So that moves this man, Philip Lee, somebody we haven't really been talking about at all, into 4th place. Just quietly climbing up the field, starting in 9th. currently finds himself in 4th, so up 5 spots. Philip Lee having a very good run here in Road America, looking at a possible top 5 finish. And it's important to talk about that with respect to some different characteristics. Philip Lee has a 2649 iRating. I wonder if I can show this on the screen. Let's see if we can do this. So if we show this battle box, and then we can change the that's the iRating increase that they would get. That being the license detail. Difficult, I guess, to pull the actual current iRating, but I can tell you it's 2649 for Philip Lee, 3393 for Matthias Kraus just behind. Henry Bennett 6713. Mark Usher 4875, Adam Crane 5100. So for somebody like Philip Lee with 2649, this is actually fighting above his weight to be in this group, and always good to see driver able to do that. We might be hearing more from Philip Lee going forward, the American driver doing excellently here in round 7 of the 2021 IndyCar iRacing series. So we're getting close to 10 to go. This has undoubtedly been a difficult race. I know that last week Henry Bennett was saying how hot it was where he was living and where he's racing from, and so also in addition, he just got a direct drive wheel, and last week it was just brutal at Detroit with all the bumps and everything. He says he's one of the hardest races he's ever been in. So just kind of let you guys know at home watching this, if you're not one of the iRacers that happens to race these circuits, to put in these long races and in the heat, you really do get a sense of what those real life IndyCar drivers go through week in and week out. And of course, nothing close to the insane temperatures that those drivers do feel in their cockpits. But of course, we also don't have cool suits either. So we pretty much just get by with maybe a fan pointed at us, or if we're really lucky, some air conditioning. Nevertheless, a lot of that just goes away. You know, you just kind of wipe the sweat out of your eyes and you just keep going until the end of the race, hoping not to cramp up or something. And we have a note here, says we're looking elsewhere and missed this fabulous pass by Chris Willite at the bottom of Hurry Downs. Right around Matthias Kraus and up into position 5. So congrats to Chris, coming up into a top 5. We also had a note a little bit earlier that Miguel Bento had a moment going off track. Miguel back in 13th, up a couple of positions. That's so easy to do. In that corner, you're really trying to, you know, push it hard into that corner. It's a real finesse corner to get right, and very easy to push out wide for sure. A note, Zachary Robinson passing Alberto Moreno. And it looks like possibly Moreno having an issue dropping off the pace. So we go take a look and see what's going on in the front as Ethan McNichol does make that final pit stop for himself. He was not going to be able to make it. We knew that. So he pits out of the 8th place. And now Adam Crane, 2.7 second lead over Mark Usher. So he's been able to keep a gap, but Mark doing a 45.71 last time by, and Crane doing a 46.06. So, and don't look now, but if I say so, Henry Bennett last time by a 45.17. So almost a full second faster than our race leader, Adam Crane. So what is afoot here? We wonder. Will these two drivers from the general UK area be able to overcome the Canadian by the end of this one? Henry's going to have to climb 6.8 seconds to get back to Adam Crane, so it's unlikely in 9 laps. Mark Usher has to make another pit stop. This is what we were wondering with 8 laps to go. Mark needing to make that final stop, not able to make it on fuel. So and most definitely it looks like Adam Crane will now take over the lead. That will put Henry Bennett into second, 6.8 seconds back. Philip Lee, just as we were talking about, now in third place. So 15 seconds adrift of second, but quite a showing for Mr. Lee here. Top American in the field, and he has about a 5.5 second gap back to Chris Willite. Seeing that Dan Ench coming back into the pits to top up, and Carlos Ruiz getting around. We can take a look at that. Carlos Ruiz here making a move and getting around Alex Haglund for 11th. Ruiz, fantastic pass, and moves ahead, trying to undoubtedly get up into that top 10. We need another 1.8 seconds to catch Ethan McNeil up the road. Looks like he's doing it quite quickly. We'll have to see. As we just had Chris Willite and Alexis Newsom racing here. It looks like Alexis Newsom is now in 5th with Matthias Kraus in 6th. So last time by, Adam Crane lowering his time down to a 45.50, with Henry Bennett a 46.31 and Philip Lee a 46.29. So Bennett pretty much ending his campaign to try to catch Crane at the end of this, but you never know. Will Adam Crane suffer a late race issue? These tires can go off on any corner, as we've seen even Henry Bennett, someone with incredible amounts of experience in these cars, many years, being able to feel out these tires and keep them under them, and he did have an issue with the late break into a corner, so it can happen to anybody. We await to see whether it will happen to Adam Crane, or whether Crane will be able to walk away with this one, having sliced and diced his way through the field in an incredible fashion. This has been one of those races for Crane that all he had to do was put his head down from the very beginning of the race and just not let up until he saw his way to clean air at the front. And he did exactly that. Just tucked his head down and went straight to the front, not really doing anything very risky from what I could see, which is always great to see that level of skill executed. There are many drivers who are also very fast, and they use less cautious ways of getting forward, often dive bombing people into corners and putting their nose into small gaps where it could end up in tears if somebody doesn't give a little bit preventively. But Adam Crane not relying on those methods at all. Definitely having pace, being able to draft and make passes on just about everybody. And I think this is also a great example of a racetrack like Road America, where you're given those many different straightaway situations to be able to make those passes if you have the car under you to do so. So Adam Crane in control, just 6 laps to go. Henry Bennett was in control, had a moment where it looked like he might gain quite a few points over his championship competitor Adam Crane, but it was not meant to be here today, it doesn't appear, as Henry held on and held on while Adam Crane, through the first couple of stints, worked his way all the way up into a podium position. And then with Crane just a couple of seconds behind, Bennett falling off the track at the bottom of Hurry Downs and late braking himself into that corner, just letting it go a little bit deep and then having to regather it, that allowing a couple of cars past, one of them Adam Crane, and Adam has not looked back. He made his final pit stop and finds himself absolutely in control. But this man, just a ways, just 15 seconds back up the track. Philip Lee, again, just quietly coming forward, not necessarily making risky moves or making himself known too much on the broadcast. He's just right there up into the top 3 positions, possibly scoring that final podium spot of the day. Chris Willite, I think, will be very pleased, starting in 8th place and ending up right now in 4th place. This is definitely not probably where he thought he would end up in this high strength of field race. I mean, of course, you always think there's a possibility to win or top 3, but realistically, starting from 8th, it's so difficult to get up there into that top 5. But that's why he stayed consistent. Chris Willite looking at a top 5 finish. And it is Alexis Newsom who has been having a lot of racing moments, doing battles out on the track throughout the race, but finding herself here in top 5, one of the first Broadcast Fridays splits that we have seen her in, and we're so happy to have her join us. Her iRating only 2262, so again, just really fighting above that iRating and hanging with people in several thousand iRating more. So then we take a look just behind, and that blur, that dark blue purplish blur, don't know the right color for that, but Mark Usher suffering an issue earlier on, ending up on a different strategy than everyone else, but the last lap set the fastest lap of the race with a 43.85. So it's a question here with the draft, will he go even faster, chasing down Alexis Newsom? And in fact, he did not go faster on that lap, a 44.43. So he probably burned a little bit of push to pass as he gets down the inside of Newsom in onto the backstretch and beginning Hurry Downs here. It's actually not the backstretch, it's Hurry Downs, but right, you know, take a look at that long straightaway and tell me that's not a back straightaway to the front straight. Anyway, Mark Usher recovering, but still in 5th position, down 3 spots. He will be asking questions. Alexis Newsom losing that spot, now shown in 6th. Matthias Kraus again having an issue moments ago and finding himself now in 7th place. Really unfortunate, given that he potentially was going to have a podium position out of this. As we can see a little bit further back, we've got Jesper Orman now in 8th, up 2 spots, with Rob Unglenix in 9th, just behind, so he will get that top 10 out of today, up 5 positions. Out of Michigan, Rob fighting hard here, and we see a note that just behind, this is just 2 spots back, we've had an issue as we go, oh, this so late into the race. Ruiz getting clipped there on the pass, unfortunately, and sits for a while and then finally gets re-going again. That, I believe, was Ethan McNichol. And so back underway for Carlos Ruiz. So we had an issue also with Dan Inch. Not sure what happened here. Did he get it? Yeah, just got it wide. That's the corner one of the drivers had an issue with earlier. So easy because, again, you're just trying to push hard into that corner. And very easy to just drift out wide. But back up to Adam Crane in front with 3 laps to go. As we go through the kink, Adam today on a mission. And we have another note. I can't believe this, folks. Just as we were talking about her, it's Alexis Newsom in the wall. Something caused Alexis to go off. Let's see if we can see. This is coming through turn 1. Gets it wide there, a little loose in the dirt. Sends her back across the track and into the wall. So easy to do. The tires want to understeer there so badly. And unfortunately, what was a brilliant run, top 10 run for Alexis is now done. And will fall out of the top 10 now in 17th place. Thus the perils, as I mentioned before, of just the tiniest of mistakes. There's no easy way out. Once you touch that wall, you're going to see some body parts flying off of the car. And that may just be the end of the race, as it was there for Alexis. But we've got 2 laps to go for Adam Crane, who, once again, not only will earn the Hard Charger award, but in true defense of both his championship lead and his reigning status as the series champion, has come from literally the back of the field, one of the final positions in the field, all the way to the front. An incredible march forward. Adam is once again just showing his dominance, his ability to have not only pace but racecraft as well. And important earlier to note, as I mentioned, him getting it done with ease, basically with grace. Not making reckless moves. It's a real sign of a professional and a champion when they're able to do it and make it look easy. And he's done exactly that, not putting a tire wrong. And we've got a couple other notes as Adam Crane takes the white flag. It looks like Dan Inch having a moment into Canada corner, and he had just drifted wide earlier and now puts it, unfortunately, so hard into the wall there in Canada corner, into the tires. Not what you would want to see if you were Dan, this on board. Right into the tires. Them doing their job of slowing down the car. And this a moment ago also, Chris Willite, that same corner that Dan earlier had an issue with going wide there as well. Chris still shown in 5th, so he'll gain 3 spots on the day. And Adam Crane now working his way through the back half of the circuit on the final lap here. This is the 2021 IndyCar iRacing Series. You're watching live, uninterrupted coverage on VirtualRacing.Network. It's round 7 at Road America, and this man on screen, Adam Crane has done it all. He got around Henry Bennett, this guy here in 2nd. And it was Henry Bennett's day going for quite a long time, but unfortunately, he had nothing for Adam Crane when he came calling. Because Adam Crane, as he exits the final corner here in Road America, has cemented his stamp on this series. This is Adam Crane's series. He's leading the points, and he's getting it done when it needs to get done. Henry Bennett comes home 2nd, but bit bittersweet. He had this race under control for a lot of it, seeing the quickly speeding through the field Adam Crane, his championship contender, approaching in his mirrors, but Henry Bennett is going to have to ask questions very soon as to how he can claw this championship back from a very, very impressive Adam Crane. Philip Lee here coming home in third, the fantastic finish. Mark Usher, as we mentioned earlier, is going to have to question what he can do to avoid those mistakes that seem to be so costly. Chris Willite bringing it home in fifth with a fantastic finish. I'm sure he will be happy with that, but sixth place, Matthias Kraus. He had a great race going. Jesper Orman managing to climb 3 spots. That's going to feel like a victory to him. He had drifted a little bit lower in the early parts of the race, and Robin Glennox also to be up in 8th. I'm sure he's just happy to finish up in the top 10. So we go back and we see Adam Crane celebrates his victory, his dominance in this series, doing some donuts for the fans at the bottom of Hurry Downs. Adam Crane, absolutely your series champion, your series defending champion, and showing that he can get it done whenever he wants to. Just a pleasure to watch these incredibly skilled IndyCar racers do battle here in the IndyCar iRacing series as we wait for this race to finish up and go official. And we can, in fact, why don't we take a look at some more of those donuts here? We can see them. Yeah. So he didn't do many donuts, but we'll take a look at it from on board with Adam. And that was about it. That was about it, but that's all you need when you're Adam. And who knows what calls these guys away. Sometimes immediate restroom trips, sometimes it's the middle of the night and they are worn out and they need to cool down and shake off some of the sweat, because it was a thriller that these drivers went through. Very hard work for them. As we finally get a chance to show you the final results here. And this is how they finished. It's Adam Crane with the victory, and Henry Bennett second, Philip Lee third. Philip Lee just 25 seconds adrift. And the first American there, Adam Crane, the Canadian, and Henry Bennett from the UK. Mark Usher also there in 4th place. Chris Willite 5th. Matthias Kraus in 6th. Jesper Orman in 7th. Robin Glennox in 8th. Ethan McNichol in 9th. Carlos Ruiz in 10th, suffering a couple of issues today. Miguel Bento in 11th place. Alex Haglund 12th. Laura Gearhart manages 13th. And then 14th, Zachary Robinson. 15th, Alberto Moreno. 16th, Alexis Newsom. See if we can get the rest of the order. Cesar Manzato, a front runner today, having a late issue with another competitor. 17th place there. Dan Ench in 18th. Colin Finland in 19th. Doriano Ricciuti 20th. Justin Petschauer, big part of our YouTube chat room, in letting us know. And I'm seeing also Ethan McNichol talking about how frustrating the race was. Could not get the tires to work to save his life. That over in the Discord channel. Appreciate everybody letting us know how it went, and we do appreciate everybody watching. Yeah, and Adam Crane in the YouTube chat room joining us for a moment, saying good race, and in fact he did do a fantastic race. The hard charger for sure, Adam Crane. It was absolutely his race. Early on, it looked like it was going to be, of course, Henry Bennett's race, as Adam Crane having an issue, Adam not able to qualify well, and so having to start all the way at the back and work his way completely through the field. It was just absolutely thrilling to watch Adam cycle his way through the field, and he really showed today why he is the series defending champion and why he is currently leading the points. He quite literally had a threat to his points in the way of Henry Bennett today. If we do have drop weeks. I was informed that there are 3 drop weeks that these drivers can do. So Hugo Olsson not being here for 2 weeks so far, that won't matter in the long run. And that's why I say, even though this one race, possibly Henry Bennett could have pulled out such a great lead in the points, even if he had, potentially this could have been one of the races that Adam Crane had dropped. But you don't want to do that, and who knows how many races you'll have to drop because of situations like this that are out of your control, with Adam Crane not qualifying well. So had Henry Bennett been able to pull it off and get those points, he might have been walking out of here ahead of Adam Crane in the points. But as it stands, Adam Crane coming back and showing that he is a force to be reckoned with, an absolute master in the IndyCar series. And so we take a look, now that this race is complete. We won't have the live points for you, but we can take a look at the remaining schedule, and that's on your screen now. So I've also scheduled out many of the races for the future in the VirtualRacing.Network YouTube channel. So make sure to stop by there, like this video, and subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, you'll get all of our great content, including the US IndyCar League that we'll be calling on Sundays. These races have been scheduled, so you can go ahead and hit notify, and you will get notified as the race is approaching. So we visit Mid-Ohio next, and how great is that to be joining that circuit once again. I know an absolute favorite for many of the drivers, because it's a real life circuit that the cars will be visiting as well. So here's the second half of the schedule as we go to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, a track that IndyCar/Kart has visited before. Sonoma Raceway, been a big part of the IndyCar series for many years. And the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the road course, we'll revisit, as well as our one remaining oval on the schedule at Gateway. That should be a lot of fun. Then leading to Road Atlanta, which has had a recent graphic update, so that should be great to show that off. We hope to have increased graphics capability as far as our broadcast by that point. More news on that later. Then we'll visit Laguna Seca and Long Beach, the street circuit just introduced earlier. And so it looks like a road-heavy schedule, and of course that will favor all of the road racers for the most part. But you do have to have the discipline of being able to make it on both ovals and road courses. And these drivers, in the way of Adam Crane and in the way of Henry Bennett, these drivers, of course, are very, very skilled and able to tackle both ovals and road courses. And that the ability to tackle both disciplines is really the key to being an IndyCar champion. So once again, it has been my absolute pleasure to have you be on board with us here at the VirtualRacing.Network studios. This has been the 2021 IndyCar iRacing series. It was round 7 of 15 from Road America. We saw quite a great race today from a number of competitors, but congratulations to Adam Crane, who asserts his dominance on this series, and Henry Bennett also putting in a great race with just a small mistake. Philip Lee coming home third. Congratulations to the podium finishers. We look forward to seeing you next time from Mid-Ohio. Make sure to stop by our YouTube channel and like and subscribe. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and you will get many more updates. So for now, saying so long, this is Trevor Greenfield from the Virtual Road America. Bye-bye, everyone.